Okay, viewers, let's get into the second episode of Ancient Trade, Modern Cost, Bricklaying Pros and Cons. This episode's about the honour of useful work. The honour of useful work. Useful work carries dignity because it answers reality directly, produces something tangible, and reminds a man that his effort matters in the real world, not just in theory. A wall stands because someone laid it. A structure holds because someone showed up, carried the load, and did the job properly. Usually did the job properly. That gives useful work a kind of honesty many other forms of work can lose, because the result cannot be faked for long term. It either stands or it does not. In that sense, useful work gives a man more than income. It gives visible proof that his labour has weight, consequence, and value. And here's the thesis. Bricklaying has honour because it produces something real. A wall, a house, a structure, a finished line of work all stand as proof that the effort mattered and that the skill met reality honesty. It is dignified work because it does not hide behind theory, talk, or appearance. It carries weight, cost, fatigue, and visible results. But the same honour becomes dangerous when usefulness becomes the only source of worth. When a man believes he only matters if he is producing, carrying, fixing, or providing, he begins to treat his value as conditional. The rest feels like failure, injury feels like shame, and weakness feels like personal collapse. What began as honest pride in useful work can slowly become bondage where identity is tied entirely to output. Bricklaying is noble work, but no man was meant to measure his worth only by what his hands can build. Teaching point number 1, guys. Useful work grounds a man in reality because it forces him into contact with what is true, not merely imagined, claimed, or talked about. Useful work grounds a man in reality. In bricklaying, the wall either runs straight or it does not. The levels reveal truth. The line reveals truth. The mortar bed reveals truth. The finished work cannot be argued into being better than it is. That is part of the dignity of the trade, isn't it? It pulls a man out of fantasy, excuse, and abstraction, and places him in a world where effort, accuracy, and patience and discipline have visible consequences. Useful work teaches that reality answers back. It rewards care, exposes laziness, and humbles pride. And we all know bricklaying can definitely humble your pride. That grounding can be deeply healthy because it reminds a man that the world is not moved by wishful thinking, but by action, structure, and competence. That, in that sense, useful work does more than earn money. It trains a man to live in contact with reality, and that is one of the reasons it carries such deep personal and moral weight. Teaching point number 2. Dignity is healthy until it becomes dependency on being needed. I'm going to say that again, guys. Dignity is healthy until it becomes dependency on being needed. Dignity is healthy when a man takes honest pride in doing useful work well, in this case bricklaying. It becomes unhealthy when he starts believing his value depends on always being needed, and you see this a lot. Then usefulness turns into identity. Rest feels like failure, and saying no feels like guilt. Healthy dignity says, it is good to do necessary work. Dependency says, I only matter when I am useful. And that is where honor can quietly become bondage. Healthy dignity says, I'm grateful to do useful work. Dependency says, I only matter when I am useful. And that's a massive difference, though humans keep building their lives on these crooked little situations and then act surprised when the roof leaks, or the wall cracks, or it's not plumb, or the joints are too big, etc. The first creates stable self-respect. The second creates quiet bondage. In bricklaying and in life, a man must learn that it is good to be needed sometimes, but it is dangerous to build his identity on permanent usefulness. Otherwise, the thing that gave him pride will eventually take his peace. Teaching point number 3. A man must learn how to be valuable even when he is not producing. A man must learn, a bricklayer must learn how to be valuable even when he is not producing. Now, a bricklayer must learn how to be valuable even when he is not producing, because if his worth only exists on input and output, then his identity will collapse the moment work slows, injury comes, age advances, or life forces him to stop. Many working men are taught directly or indirectly that value comes from labour, provision, toughness, and visible usefulness. There is truth in that, but it is not the whole truth. Work can express value, but it cannot be the total measure of it. A man is more than his production. He still carries worth when he is resting, recovering, thinking, grieving, healing, or standing still long enough to examine the condition of his own life. If he never learns that, he becomes trapped in a system where he feels secure only when exhausted and only respectable when busy. So, to learn this is not laziness, it's not softness, it's not a rejection of work, it is the refusal to confuse function with identity. A man should work hard, build well, and carry responsibility with strength, but he must also know that his life has meaning beyond what he can produce in a day. His character, restraint, honesty, faithfulness, discipline, presence, and capacity to endure all forms of value that do not disappear when output drops. That lesson is vital, because if a man, a bricklayer, cannot feel valuable apart from production, then work will own him completely. The stronger man is the one who can build when it is time to build and still remain secure in who he is when the work stops. So let's look at some practical steps, viewers, in closing this episode, The Honour of Useful Work. Practical step number 1. Define what makes work honourable to you. Define in your mind what makes your work honourable to you. Practical step number 2. Notice when usefulness becomes pressure. Notice when your usefulness becomes your pressure. Think about that. Practical step number 3. Practice one period of rest, guys, without guilt. Just give yourself one period of rest without guilt. And I sit on the front veranda on a very comfortable chair and listen to the birds and look at the garden, all that sort of stuff. I also do lots of sport as well. Reflection question. Do I experience usefulness as a gift or as a condition of worth? Just ask yourself that, guys. Do I experience usefulness as a gift or as a condition of worth? Now, here's a 7-day challenge. Spend 15 minutes a day being still without using productivity to justify yourself. Spend 15 minutes a day for 7 days being still without using productivity to justify yourself.